Cool. We're recording.
And you're in gallery view?
I am.
All right. Number 2, team member preparedness. Each member identifies those readings and videos which they have not completed. So for these, we had to read the instructions and then we had to watch the video. Did everyone do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. Preparation of written team assignment, feedback report to other team. Section A, assignment submitter opens a Google Doc using whatever format the team prefers. All team members should be given editing access and should also open that document. Does everyone have it open?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
I did have it open.
Yeah, same. B, discuss the criteria each used to assess other team. Perhaps use those to organize feedback report. All right, so let's see. Daniela, do you want to go first?
Yes. And we're just our thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know that there was really any set criteria.
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously criteria that we could have used from the readings and videos, but
I think that was optional, though.
yeah, nothing was set in stone.
Okay. Okay. I finally found the agenda. I was like, where is it? I mean, I guess opening it up, James, you had mentioned before the rules in the team. There weren't, I think there were 3, and then the other 3 members didn't have one. So I wasn't sure if that was like an amendment to the agenda or if they all agreed on that and it was okay. I mean, we have pretty much full leniency on what we're doing here, but I wasn't really sure why that decision was made. And they all seemed, like in the beginning, they were talking about Colorado, and they all seemed just like in tune with each other. I was like, oh, that, like they all seemed like, I think like 3 of them were from Colorado and others had visited, and I felt like it was really cool to see them find that common ground to talk about.
It was their first meeting, right?
I think it was their second.
Yeah.
It was their second
I thought
meeting.
it was their first for some reason. Okay. Well, they still, I agree. They seemed really in touch for a second.
Yeah.
Haven, do you have anything to add?
Just watching like the first little bit. There was like 2 and I don't know their names. I tried to catch them, but I just can't remember anything. But it seemed like there were 2 people that talked a lot. One was the girl, and then there was some guy. The rest would chime in. There was one guy that didn't really speak that much. I guess in the sections, because I kind of like, I watched it and then like I skimmed through the rest to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And either I just missed the parts that he talked, or he was just kind of, the quiet one out of the bunch. It seemed like their conversation flowed really well, though. I just felt like they didn't want to choose people, like they didn't want to call on people because they wanted it to flow. But I kind of felt like that hindered them just a little bit, because you had that one guy that kind of just didn't say too much. But I mean, I liked their, I guess, chemistry. They talked well together.
Gary?
Yeah, so I wrote down their names because I just wanted to follow along and have an idea as to who was who. So I think, Haven, you're talking about Chrissy and Brad talked a lot, and David on the bottom right kind of kept quiet, and I don't think he paired the readings so much, so he kind of just was listening to what they were saying and then was kind of piggybacking off of them. He seemed unprepared and a little uninterested. He also didn't realize he had to submit the notes prior to the meeting. I mean, I thought that was the only negative from him.
Mm.
So I wrote here on the doc, they didn't have the challenger or the submitter like we talked about, but they should have, even though they should have, there were probably one extra person that wouldn't have had a role. So I gave the suggestion that they add an extra challenger. I don't know. For me, I'm going to put in the notes that I had here. What's going on? Come on, close. The audio feedback was distracting. I think one of them was not wearing headphones, and they was just giving some bad feedback. So I'm going to put that in. I don't know if this is really necessary or not, but Chrissy wasn't looking at the camera. She was kind of looking at her monitor. That was weird.
Yeah.
But like we all said, they had good team chemistry, and they were all very engaged with their icebreaker. They all wanted to move to Colorado. That was cool. And then as far as the discussions and the readings, I mean, they all gave their answers and broke down their thinking beyond that. You know, they all were engaged with each other and positive. It looked like they were having this meeting during the day, which would be nice, but I think it was a Sunday afternoon. So that is the feedback that I had. Basically, it was good discussion, and you know, I liked how they initially set up the idea of each passing it to the next person. I just think that they forgot to do that as they finished their answer. They kind of were like, I'm done. So yeah, that's my feedback.
James?
So I was gonna try to think of some things that you guys haven't mentioned. The facilitator did a good job of bringing things to light that they didn't talk about, and they encouraged everyone to speak up pretty well. The only thing was Chrissy and Brad kind of took the show, but everyone still got a chance to speak, and bottom right wasn't involved. We know that, but the shows in the meeting, and I was just kind of thinking if maybe someone doesn't have very much feedback that they could give, maybe more like life experience stuff, or relate to what other people had said maybe to their experiences, so they can at least offer something. Because as much as this meeting is for us, it's also for us personally, it's also for each other, so we can kind of learn from each other. So even if you missed a reading or whatever, we should still kind of highlight that in a way. Facilitator did a good job, but good group communication, and they were pretty good about letting everyone know that they had submitted assignments, and they did a good job of kind of catching up on what they've missed. Chrissy was pretty intuitive on that stuff. And they also just brought up a lot of life lessons. Their conversation flowed really well. They were all wanting to go to Colorado. You too. Looks like everyone's headed to Colorado. But yeah, the real life situations was good to hear. I think that kind of what influenced me to speak up about that for our group, because that's really what it's kind of making me realize what it's all about, rather than just kind of reiterating and regurgitating the chapter. Let's see, and they brought a lot of aspects to the reading, and related a lot of aspects from the reading to their life, including their open-mindedness and communication skills. And they picked the most important aspects from the reading, which was good. And then after that, I just kind of made like a list of questions to see like whether they did these things or not, and I think they did. So yeah, I think they did really well for a second meeting and the course material.
So looking at all of the feedback that was given, I am sitting here looking at it to see how we've performed comparatively. And it's interesting to see how easy it is for us to point out everything that they may have done, good or bad. But kind of like James said, it's for us too. So my only recommendation to our team would be to read these to make sure that we're equally as engaged and that we're in this together, even if it is for a short amount of time. My biggest thing that I noticed was their chemistry, like I said earlier, because for a team that has only worked together once prior, they seem to know a lot about each other and were very comfortable. But I feel like we were in that same position after our second meeting too. So, yeah.
Joey, say that first part again. I want to add that to the end of this this document here about how
how I reviewed it for us too,
Yeah.
or self.
yeah.
I mean,
What would you say here?
I think it's equally important that we take the feedback that we're providing to others and compare it to our own participation or behavior. I try not to be too distracted, but things happen. It's easy to point out what other people are doing wrong or right. So it's good to take what they're possibly doing wrong and make sure we're not doing it, and then what they're doing right, make sure we are doing it, if that makes sense.
I just want to piggyback on that and say that trust building is one of the biggest things for team building. So kind of adds to that a little bit when they can, having that trust allows them to be open.
Okay. So the cool thing about this meeting is that's kind of all we had to do. So discuss each other's feedback on the other team and decide how to format the feedback report for the other team. Once an agreement on the content of a section, enter that into the Google Docs. Continue until report is complete. I don't know how else to break it down other than a list. It's not really, there's not a lot of context per se to make it like a formal report.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the bullet method
It's good. You guys see everything I'm doing here? Is this all right?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate for the amount of content we had to review. And then review the feedback report the team has prepared against the rubric, assignment 3.3, and if complete, it is ready to submit.
3.3. The rubric. I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to save this as a Word doc and upload it.
Awesome. All right. So
Danielle, you're going to submit this video?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
Okay.
That's because she said it was going to be about 30 minutes, right?
yeah.
So what are we at? 20?
No, I just wanted to make sure it was going to be a shorter meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
So any other thoughts, comments, or discussion points in this regard?
I just want to ask, what do you guys think we can do better?
I think we're doing great, guys.
Yeah.
We can't overthink it.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
overthink it.
That's our biggest problem. Is overthinking. Any questions for Dr. Chanley for this one?
I think we're in line with her too.
And then how did this meeting go?
Our best meeting yet.
Yeah.
We're her favorite group now.
Fast and Furious. All right. So we've already talked about Thursday, which will just be the review of our written report. So I imagine it'll be relatively short as well. But we're going to keep the same rules, and that's at 6 p.m. Arizona time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, then I think we're all good.
All right.
All right.
I will upload both of those. Wait, am I uploading both to the same
There should be two.
different ones? Okay.
2 pages in the module.
Okay, cool. I will look for that. All right.
All right.
End the
Have a good
recording.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.